Well, hello and welcome to the Internal Mobility Podcast, where we explore all of the ways for you to reach your potential here at Randstad while also making this giant company a little easier to know and understand. Today, our guest is Michael Gavin. Michael is a Senior Vice President in our PTS specialty. Michael has a handful of openings right now, so listen closely. You could hear about an opportunity that's right for you today. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, it is a great pleasure to be here. And yes, we have quite a few openings upcoming. So this is perfect timing to speak about internal mobility.
Awesome. So you as an SVP today, but you didn't begin as an SVP. Tell us what your Randstad story is.
Yeah, so I started as a staffing consultant. So the entry level, full desk, recruiting, sales, and recruiting role for office and administrative positions just outside of Washington, D.C. In a small market, had some success there early on with my unit partner and was promoted to the Baltimore office, which was a larger market. And from there, I went and advanced and I took on area vice president role. 2 years later, took on a vice president role. So had some experience overseeing the Maryland market and then added in Kansas and St. Louis, which was a little bit interesting just to be out in the Midwest for my first time ever. And then focused on the DC metro area. And now I have responsibilities for the BAO business from Richmond, Virginia, all the way up to Woburn, Massachusetts, and for the finance and accounting business from, I guess we'll go Woburn, Massachusetts, down to Richmond, all the way out west to California. So happy to be working with the West F&A group, the Midwest, the North Central F&A group, and looking forward to my 13th year at Randstad.
Wow, you're everywhere. I'm curious too. Like we hear this here all of the time. Like it's just that kind of place where trusted with little, trusted with much, right? Like when you take good care of what's in front of you here at Randstad, it tends to continue to grow over time. Congratulations.
Thank you. I obviously can't take credit for it. It takes a village to accomplish all the successes that we've had over the years. So surrounding yourself with great people tends to bode well for yourself. So
agreed. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody that's listening that wants to be an SVP here one day?
Probably just that. If you surround yourself with great people, I think in time it all works out. But I think that it's so important. If I look at my career and the reason that I'm able to do what I do, it is because I have great area vice presidents underneath of me. I have a great leadership team underneath me that allows me to focus on what it is I need to focus on to be successful. So if you're in leadership, it's to continue to build out that succession plan to make sure that you have the right bench, the right people in place, people that are smarter than you in certain areas, people that are better than you in certain areas, and don't be afraid of that. For someone that's not currently in leadership but looking to crack into leadership and hopefully move up to an SVP level at some point, I would say focus on the why behind what it is that you do each and every single day that leads to success, but also leads to failure, and then understand what you can do to leverage that or to alter that outcome moving forward. And I think that helps you think more strategically, which is what you want in leadership.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's awesome. What would you say makes PTS a career destination here at Randstad?
Well, speaking for all of PTS, which includes executive recruitment within the finance and accounting world, it includes RLS, our life sciences group, it includes national coverage from our strategic customer group, and then you also have the BAO and the F&A practices. So it's a lot of different opportunities and delivery systems that we have here. I think that what's exciting about it is the specialization that we've seen over the past couple of years and how we've adapted to that need in the marketplace and how we're going to continue to do that as we move forward. I think that when I look at this group and I look at the leadership team at all levels, we have done a fantastic job at educating and putting training and learning and development curriculums out there for all of our leaders to help raise them up, which we're seeing a great response and a great outcome from that. But I think specifically with the BP group, which is what I specifically or where I specifically sit, BAO and F&A and looking at that specialty and understanding the nuances of that world and focusing on what you truly love with a dedicated focus to it. So we're not generalists. You don't have to do this type of role or recruit on this type of role because it's part of your fabric there. It's dedicated focus to what you love. If you love recruiting and sourcing for HR specialists, go do it. If you love recruiting for finance and accounting and speaking with controllers and senior accountant managers, go do it. So I think that's probably what I would say is enticing about the PTS world.
So deep expertise in the ability to do deep quality work and the training and learning that really enables you to get it done. It's great.
Yeah, we have a ton of support and training and development, and I think a great vision for where we need to go.
It's awesome. All right, before you go, tell us what your Randstad why is 13 years later.
13 years later. So it's different from when I started because I didn't have two little ones when I started. So I think that my Randstad why, my passion is providing a great lifestyle for my family. So taking care of home is probably my number one priority in life. I think number two is, and then you can do that in many different places, many different areas. I think what keeps Randstad number one to me is the great leadership that we have. If you look at the North American leadership team, we really have the best of the best at the top. Their vision, what they want to do with the company is tremendous for the team itself. How we're going to elevate every single person within the organization based on their vision, I think is really important to me. And I think that just being part of or as a senior vice president, being part of the strategic planning process and being included in that, I think is what gets me going. I really do enjoy working with the people here. My team is fantastic. Jill, my boss, is a great leader. I've been blessed with great leadership over the years. So a lot of reasons why.
Yeah, I'll say. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I'll see you.